Microphone test? Okay. Yeah, that works. Okay. Okay, we live and people can hear it? It's a little low. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think that's about as close as I can get it and still be able to do stuff. All right. Oh yeah, put my hair so it's less annoying to me. Where'd my hair tech go? My left pocket? Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I need to grab this from that monitor. This gets to go here. That ought to do for a title. I guess I can put that there. This is actually a little low. Okay. Let's see. Has anybody showed up to my nonsense? I see one person in the chat, but I'm not going to call him out, of course. Let's see here. Then we need this. Let's see. Shift, enter, Control V, enter. Yes, I know I'm going to page my entire Discord. I'm aware. All right. There you go. Copy. And let's see here. Don't need to page them. I can't remember. Does this one have it? Send an exclamation point there. And recopy. And done. Let's see hers. Sure. Into that one. Let's see. No, not that one. Yes, this one. Definitely this one. Paste. Let's see here. Dunk. Subterminate that one. Let's see. Very twitchy keyboard. Oak. Go. This one. Paste, enter. One. Paste, enter. See here. Paste, enter. Let's see. Paste, enter. Yep. Paste, enter. Where are we? I need to go to this one. That's interesting. Okay. This one. Paste, enter. Definitely this one. Paste, enter. Paste, enter. This one, paste, enter. Paste, enter. And paste, enter. All right. I can shrink down. Lock that so I don't mess with it. See if anybody showed up in chat. Nope, that's to be expected. Oh yeah, I need my moderator window. Where the hell's my monitor? Way over there. Come here. You. Come here. I need you for... And then... Dunk. Dunk. View tab. Turn the quality to Garbo and then unmute. Then we can bury that. And we should be good to go on this. So yeah, the goal we're going to be doing here is we're trying to take this old eMac. This thing, to anybody who's here, is basically the same computer as the first LCD iMac, but with a CRT in it. And I've already replaced the DVD drive with one that can write DVDs, even though I honestly don't have a reason for doing that, as I don't think I will probably be ever writing DVDs, but it's more of just because I can. I've also cleaned it, but it needs a solid state drive replacement. So that's what's being done to it. Yeah, I need my don't shock yourself dipshit gloves. And my screwdrivers. Let's see. Let me open that tutorial online of how the hell I'm supposed to do this. eMac iFix. eMac. Yep. I want to get to the hard drive. Yes, I know it's difficult. Let's see. Remove that door. Already done that. Already took off that. Already took off that. Disconnect the power button. Gel is already removed. I've removed the silver access thing. So then you need to disconnect this ferrite core. Okay, that's disconnected. Ground wire. See the ground wire. I want insulated gloves to do this part. Right. Hi. I need a tray. A magnetic tray. Need the tray before I start doing all this. Otherwise, I will lose what goes where, because I know myself. I am not good enough at remembering this sort of shit. So that's what I need. Like a screw. Needs that bit. Got a lot of factory tightened screws. Okay, so is this a ground circle? Or is this a... Oh, this is a circle. Okay, we got the ground circle off. I need to pull a glove so my scroll pad will actually work. Hey there, Angel Piecer. Okay, we need to rotate the Mac and unplug that. How you been doing? Yeah, I know it's been a long time, and I'm sorry about that. I've been very much wanting to get back into streaming, and part of that is streaming this exact Mac that I've got in pieces. How you been doing? And I assume you can hear me because I can see the little thing going on the So that is uncoupled. Let's see, can I scroll with these gloves? I can. Okay. Screws. Move screws that hold the fan assembly. Okay, where are we looking at? We're looking at the power port. Okay. Okay. That screw. And that screw. Okay. That was at least not ridiculously tight like the last one was. Downloading automation for metadata tool removal, looking into MAT2, which I'm not sure what that is. Having the tools needed before you can grab it, you need WSL, which is Windows Subsystem for Linux. Okay. And what is MAT2, and what does automation for metadata tool remover exactly mean? Also, is the Zelda Wind Waker vinyl that's scrolling over there, is that a reasonable volume? Anytime you send someone a photo, they cannot see all of your metadata. You're talking about the stuff where it's like, you know, where this was shot and what type of lens it was and what date and, you know, all that sort of shit. deeper than that. Okay. Let's see. And oh, I see. So those three are the same, but the other one's different. So what sort of, let's see, is removing all that and the stuff that you can't see. Also, how is the volume of this and how is the volume of Wind Waker playing? Because I can barely hear Wind Waker, but then again, I'm playing it out of a sound bar, and as you can see, I'm not wearing my regular headphones. Because Windows only shows you some of it. Okay. Wow. I swear, I hate these screws in these things that are clearly tightened by a machine. Talking the microphone seems normal. Yeah. It's going to be a little bit low because it's placed. I normally sit like this, and I've got it adjusted like this, and I'm not going to make that big of adjustment because I don't plan to be doing streams that are of this style that often. I just felt like I might as well stream this because I have to screw with this Mac anyway, and I haven't streamed in a while, so I might as well. There. Alright, next step. There may be a zip tie holding the fan. Another cable to the fan assembly. Cut that and remove the fan assembly. Okay. Gave up Opera GX, not a full-time Brave user. I've never understood the reasoning for using like Opera or Brave or whatever. I've stuck around with Firefox, and you know, like Zelda over there is running in Chrome just for convenience sake. Let's see, there may be a zip tie. Okay, so it's around where that was. Fan connector might be held. Zip tie holding another cable to the fan assembly. I see what they're talking about. I need small scissors. I've only got my giant left-handed scissors near me. I'm going to go get some small scissors and be right back. I have acquired scissors. Scissors get. Oh, now a full-time user of Brave. Okay. All right, zip tie cut. Opera was well-liked for the customization, but was unsecure. Point of Brave is that you can have Chromium while being more secure. Chromium is being forced upon you. Might as well go with the best version. Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people complain about Firefox as of late due to some AI bullshit they've been doing. All right. Okay. Fan removed. Is that an LED or a temperature sensor? I don't care. All right, so let's see here. Remove the fan assembly. We'll expose more of the CRT. Yes, I know. Bottom connectors.
4 connectors at the bottom of the motherboard that must be disconnected. Okay. Hi, microphone. I see that you're in my neck. Let's see. Plus, since you literally live on the internet these days, you got to be careful of trolls. More secure. Let's see. For work-related, use Firefox Developer and Multivad, which is more secure than Firefox. Plus, you live on the internet, got to be more careful of the trolls. I mean, I'd love to be doing exactly this full time, you know, but I need to find some regular remote work of some sort due to the fact that I have pretty fecked up feet and cannot stand for very long. Okay. That's a Streamlight spam. All right, what is next step? Display connector. There's a large display connector that must be removed. Can be done by squeezing the tabs and pulling. Where? Ah. I need more light. Where's my little pink flashlight? There's my little pink flashlight. Feel like tinfoil hat, paranoid, check out the Tails distribution. I've never felt a need to use Linux pretty much at all. Well, I did use Linux once for... I did use Linux once for kind of a sketchy thing where I was trying to steal my neighbor's Wi-Fi. But that's about it. Wi-Fi, or I guess that's the display cord. Display cord unplugged. Yep. Yep. Power button cable. You tucked in the casing and need to untuck it. All right. Yeah, I've got nothing against Linux. It's just never been something I needed because so much of the stuff that I do is Windows exclusive, and I work with so much old games and stuff like that that it's not really feasible or really something that I need to do. Several Phillips screws hold the eMac motherboard to the rest of the assembly. Oh, they have the DVD drive out. Do I need the DVD drive out? No removal. No? No, it doesn't look like I need the DVD drive out. I can leave the DVD drive in. Okay. Screws. 2 large ones near the drive bay door. Come on. Come on, you stupid screw. There you go. No, you're actually a bolt. You're not a screw. Alright, whatever. It's out. Alright. Big screws removed. Alright, where are the rest? Alright. So where is that? That would be here. And here. Okay. What sort of stuff do you end up doing that ends up needing, or at least you choose to use Linux for? Where else? I've got that one, that one. That one, that one. It's 4, you guys, not 7. Okay. Quite free. What's next? Underneath the power caddy. Right. More gloves for this part. So I'm gonna have to grab fairly near the CRT. All right, that's 7. What's next? Seven. The motherboard should now be able to come through. Okay. Okay. That is surprisingly clean in there. Actually, let me move this so I can see if you can see that. Yeah. There's the actual computer part, and the rest is all CRT and speaker. Okay. So the entire purpose of this is to remove this hard drive and put in this solid state drive. Partially because space, but also because I don't trust a hard drive for reliability, especially when I plan to stream from this a lot, that has a date of, I think, 2004 on it. Our cable. Disconnect the power from the hard drive. Come here. Good little mullets. Alright. The drive is fastened to the caddy. In order to remove the caddy, that must be... I see. Caddy must be disconnected. Okay. I'll pull the drive out. Yeah, I'm sure, because it's connected via IDE. They don't want you to rip the IDE in half, even though I have more IDE cables. I understand what they're about to get at. Come on, you fucker. There we go. Never got to reply. Was gonna say fair enough. He only flirted with the idea of Linux. I'm going either way regardless. Before you're forced to go to Windows 12, 11 is the last Windows you want to use. I still find it amusing that they're like, Windows 10 is the last Windows ever. We will update Windows 10 for all of eternity. Never mind, here's the Windows 11. Which I know I'm in the minority, but I feel like Windows 11 is objectively better than Windows 10 in every way. And I'll explain once I have a drink. So my reason for saying that I objectively believe that Windows 11 is better in every single way is the computer that is streaming. I mean, obviously I'm tearing a Mac to pieces right now. The computer that I actually stream from and play all my games from was constructed with a 3700X chip. Maybe it was the XCG, but it was definitely the 3700X. The version that could be upgraded that was considered like the better gaming chip at the time. And isn't the joke that Windows 12 itself is going to be AI slop? Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I built the computer. It had a 3070 graphics card. It had 32 gigs of RAM, and it had all the stuff that should be there to allow it to be useful. And that was the thing about it, is that every single time I booted it up after I installed a fresh Windows 10 copy that I paid for. No, I got it as a Windows, I bought Windows 7 and then used that code to upgrade to 10 later. Sorry. I had 10 Pro on my system. 10 Pro would crash to blue screens of death. I would have to do like pre-Windows terminal commands to restore it to where it would actually work. It would crash literally daily. And oftentimes I'd be doing like /repair commands in safe mode or in like the Windows repair console that you get to before you actually go to Windows. Like at least weekly, if not daily. And finally I was just like, you know what? This is fucking bullshit. I'm given an option to get a copy of Windows 10 Pro upgraded to Windows 11 Pro. So I wiped the drive and installed Windows 11 Pro using that same serial number. And besides some hardware crashes that were more related to shitty power cords inside my computer, I've not had a single blue screen of death software-based crash, not once, since I installed Windows 11 Pro on the same exact hardware. I have since upgraded the CPU, but under the 3700X and the 3070 graphics card, I got 0 crashes to BIOS. And the only time I started getting crashes to BIOS turned out to be faulty power cords that were unrelated to this problem. But that's the thing about it, is that Windows 11 Pro has been infinitely more stable than Windows 10 Pro was. I can't speak for Home Edition. I've never had a computer that ran Home Edition. But as far as Pro Edition, actually, I need a non-magnetic screwdriver for this stuff. Anyway, what I was saying is that absolutely Windows 11 Pro is infinitely more stable than Windows 10 Pro was for me. There it is. I need this screwdriver because it's not magnetic. Okay, let me scroll it. I've got a very tiny window to look at this from. Only one way it isn't better, the AI bloat that forced system change to be replaced with Windows AI. It's not possible to remove it without breaking the OS. That's not a thing. When it first came out, not only that, but 11 outperforms 10 on every single benchmark. Only downfall was when it first came out, it had heavy memory usage. I think I was probably about 8 or 9 months into Windows 11 Pro's existence. Yeah, it's just a better operating system. Okay, I can set down the motherboard. The motherboard, you get to go right there. And remove this hard drive from the caddy. Now, this hard drive does work. It's just, as I said, I want more storage. I want it to be slightly faster, and I do not trust this hard drive that I think was made on either 4/16/2003 or 3/16/2004, which I think the 2004 date's correct. But either way, I just don't trust it after all this time. Probably dual booting in a few years. Let's see. Arch or Arc? Yeah, I tried dual booting, I think Ubuntu, and I just found it pointless when I was working on Windows 7. It just felt utterly pointless to me. And if I ever bring the Windows 7 computer out of retirement for gameplay, I'm going to uninstall that copy of Linux from it. VMing Ubuntu is still worth it. I can see that. There's nothing that Linux does that I can't do on Windows. Nothing. And I've very much felt like the whole community where whichever distribution of Linux you pick, doesn't matter, you're wrong. Whichever one it is, you're wrong. And I've always thought that was super toxic. That the Linux community is like, Linux is better in every single fucking way. And then you're like, okay, here's a valid complaint I have about Linux. Or here's a valid reason why I still need to use Windows or I want to use Windows. And they're like, meh. Well, it's the fact that you tried Squeedly-Doo Linux instead of Squarpity-Darp Linux. And I'm like, well, the internet told me to choose Squarpity-Darp. And they're like, well, Squarpity-Darp sucks. But then you can find an equal amount of people who want Squeedly-Doo Linux instead of Squarpity-Darp. And it's the same shit. Alright, I'm going to carefully set this hard drive aside. And I'm going to do this in kind of a ghetto way where I get some sticky fucking tape and stick this disk drive in here. Ghetto, but it'll work. Oh, God, no. Don't cramp up, foot. Don't cramp up. Oh, my God. Ow, ow, ow. 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 Oh, I hate that. You good, foot? Okay. That was really painful. Sarge is a bitch right now? Yeah, tell me about it. I've been trying to do... Now, admittedly, I'm using 128 gigabyte solid state drive, but that's the thing is that this 128 gigabyte solid state drive, or I'm sorry, it's a 120, not a 128, whatever. I'll read what Waper said in a second. Yeah, I got this on clearance a long time ago for like $12. Here, let me get a scroll. People are chatting. All right. Benefits of each system. Waper's saying, to be fair, there are pros and cons. It's a matter of us outweighing what works best for us as users. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Storage is a bitch right now. CPUs are somewhat cheap. $12, yeah. This is a Hewlett-Packard branded SSD S600 laptop hard drive sized. It runs on SATA. It's going to be going into an adapter, but I ended up getting, I think, like 5 of these damn things out of a clearance bin at Office Depot. I've got at least like 2 or 3 of them left. They're all 120 gigabytes, which good enough for a 2004 Mac or going into like a PlayStation 3. But yeah, this is what's going in here. Actually, I need my adapter. Oh, there's my adapter. So let me show you what we're doing. I'm gonna come over to the camera. So we have solid state drive. I know it's upside down. Oh. solid state drive, and then that. So the plan is that this is a IDE to SATA adapter, and this is a SATA solid state drive going into a computer where SATA did not exist. So this plugs into this, plugs into the Mac. Can't stay as tomorrow. Just want to stop by. Thank you so much for that, Nora Wolf. How is the overall volume of the Zelda music that's going over there? But yeah, I have nothing against Linux. If it did what I needed, I would absolutely use it. But it just doesn't serve my needs. So. Volume of the Zelda music playing. Oh my god, we got a big ass frame drop at some point. Well, I can tell that this is playing The Longest Death, even though I can't hear it for some reason. Why can I not hear my trigger? Can I redo that? I guess I could do this manually. I could do this. There, now I can hear whatever trigger fire stuff you do. Cool. Alright, so. Sweaty hand from rubber glove. Streaming and repairing. Thank you so much, Waper. I always appreciate that. This hard drive doesn't specify. Let's see if I can find out. I can't see my cursor. Where the fuck is it? There it is. Looks like it's going back to its roots. That thing is actually cut from a way, way longer video. But yet I've heard rumors that they're trying to sell the Xbox division. Not saying it's true, but I'm just like, it'd be funny if she comes in and then just sells the whole division. Let's see, ST380011A. Alright, can we get the information? I know this is the Apple version. Platter count, don't care. I just need to know if there's a way to tell which one is cable select. Aha. Okay. So if we look at it from this side, it is set to... So there's masters there. That's that. That would be the slave setting, which I hate that term, but that's legitimately what they used for these old hard drives. But it is set to the cable select. All right. So that is set to master. We set you to cable select simply because that is how Apple had you set. And this is the same hard drive, right? Yep, that is the same hard drive. All right, cool. Cool. All right, so gives us space here. How are we going to plug this? It needs to go this way. So it goes this way. Go that way. And then that would plug into the solid state drive. So to do that, you're looking at doing it this way. Sorry, I'm just kind of like mentally thinking out how to do this correctly. And then, so let's see. Let's take a look at this particular solid state drive. Actually, let's see what StarTech says in their manual. I'm curious. Or is this just warranty information? Let's see here. ID to SATA adapter, system requirements, a SATA drive. Host computer needs ID and power if you use to... Installed SATA drive is a bootable device. Ensure it's designated to operate in master mode. Okay, I'll try that. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. We'll try it your way, StarTech. We'll try it your way, StarTech. You say IDE. Think of the tools, integrated development. Let me see what IDE that I'm referring to is an acronym for. IDE. IDE, originally known as the AT attachment, is integrated drive electronics. Is a standard interface created by or designed for the IBM PC compatibles, also known as parallel ATA or parallel AT attachment. But yeah, in this case, it is integrated drive electronics is what IDE is that I'm referring to. But I'm referring to these big old chunky ribbon cables from the 90s. But yeah, I was going to look at the solid state drive. Alright, Snip, snips. There you are. All of this simply because SATA didn't exist when this computer came out. God, that feels like it's got nothing in it, which it probably doesn't. Alright. If it's got mounting holes like that, can I get any of the mounting holes? I could probably hit one. Be mounted like right there. ID coming up like that. Okay, I want to see the original here. Let's see here. Alright, so it's disconnected from the motherboard with a short little ID cord. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Okay. I'm just thinking cable management because I don't have much to work with here. Motherboard. Okay. All right. So that means that comes around like that and goes right here. How this is designed to route. And this comes right here. Okay. So if we do that, and we have an out screw point there, some tape right there. an interesting point. Can I do that? Could I do that? So the hard drive sits. Probably could do that. Probably could do that. Alright, let's see here. Not here. Do any of the holes line up? Not really, that's a pretty big gap. EXIF tool, true M or FF MPEG. 4 tools you installed have 3 to 4 more. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out how to place this solid state drive. If I take one of the hardware caddy screws, I'm going to run it through here. I mount it like that. That would have a pretty big gap. Okay. Let me see if I have any rubber feet to go under this thing. So I can definitely use spacer tape, but I'd like to use rubber feet if I have it. I may just use zip ties. Just trying to figure this out. Can I do this? I got the little tiny skinny ones. Can I do this? Oh, I absolutely can. They're even skinnier zip ties in here. They're all the same. Only 2 diameters. Okay. I'm just trying to think where to place this. I'm sorry if this is boring. How are we doing on internet? We're having an internet crap out. Gotta love that. You stable now, internet? I swear. Did you raise money and replace the internet? Internet's trash here. Where's those pliers? All right. figuring this out. That's definitely the way to do it. All right, I figured it out. That will be how we do it. Yep. All right. Live right now. Hey there, Wizard. Just working on an old Mac. How's it going for you? How am I doing? Just trying to get this old Mac that is in pieces. A solid state drive upgrade so it runs way, 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 way better. What year is it? I assume you're talking about the computer. It is a 2004 eMac. Not the right screw? I don't think that's the right screw. Like ancient, that's the entire purpose. I want to play old ass games. I guess I need to loosen this first. All right, I guess I need to do that first. Yeah, I've been wanting to play old games on computer, and this is a solution. The reason I'm using a Mac instead of a Windows computer, because I can. On Windows 10, ran a setup. It was identical to XP. Yeah, pretty much. Damn it, zip tie. Damn it, zip tie. Fine. Damn it. Come here, screws. There. Alright, zip tie. Let's try this. Be back in a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna be at this for a while. That seems good. fun sitting on a pillow like this. Got it where I need it. Okay. I think I can reinstall this. See if this works how I think it will. Okay. We get to work on the Mac. We get to work on the Mac. Sorry I don't have a great camera for you. This is not something I really plan, like a whole layout for or anything. That's the seal button. Where is that thing? I definitely know where the no button is, but let me see if I can find the easy button. Let me look for it.
Así de fácil. Así de fácil. Así de fácil.
There you go. There's your Spanish easy button. Foxhole research? Absolutely, yeah. We're just working on this 2004 eMac that will be used later in various streams for PC, well, in this case, Mac gaming. What I plan to stream tomorrow? I have an idea called Mac Mondays, and this is going to be the Mac of Mac Mondays. I have currently strapped a solid-state drive into the hard drive caddy so that it will be both faster and more reliable. You typed a big old thing. Let me see what you got. My chat window's very tiny right now. Speaking of vinyl, the record, your 99-year-old father had some from Japan, all in Japanese from the 60s. The only one you took was a single box collection of Jack Benny's Radio Show. I do not know that whatsoever. Itty bitty chat windows? It's just, I got a lot of shit on screen. I probably could make it bigger, but it's how it's set up. I normally have an entire vertical screen dedicated to it. Famous violinist or humorist. It's like a novelty comedy act. Shit. No, I'll put my finger there. Okay. Vector Borge. No idea who that is as well. Now, if you get up to like Tom Lehrer or something like that, I can absolutely know who you're talking about. That time period, unfortunately, not. Spike Jonze. Yeah, I know who Spike Jonze is, and Ellen Sherman, and Tom Lehrer. I just don't know the last person you referred to. Can I get the tiniest bit more slack on this, please? Maybe I can get tiny bit more slack. There we go. Why is it being all bitchy? What's the issue here? That's how you go on. Vinyl record playing music today? Yes. That is not my record player. That's a YouTube video. But I do have that record. There is a record player. I mean, you can see there's a big ass box of records right there. But the actual record player is almost directly behind me. For this room, it is. Pattern is Jerry someone spilled milk on it. Yeah, it's what they call a I forget what that one's called. That one's not called a splatter. I think that one's called like a... Maybe it is a splatter. Anyway, yeah, it's supposed to be a like red splatter in white. It was intentionally made that way. Like, one record is... Did I just sever something, or is that how it's supposed to be? Let me see the pictures. I see something that I'm hoping is not bad. Okay. Okay, theirs has that cut too. Okay. I'm not concerned anymore. Okay. Yeah, it's... I forget if they call it a splatter or if they call it a marble. That's what they call that type. Yeah, that's a marbled record. That's what they refer to that. I had to think about it. It's been a long time since I've had to look up vinyl record terms. But yeah, I have that exact one. That is the Wind Waker one, and yeah, that's the Wind Waker soundtrack. How to do this shit in reverse order. What is clunking over there? Is there like a moth smacking into my lamp? Yeah, I hear something clunking over next to my desk, and I think it's a moth. Okay, my curiosity. I think it's a cicada. I'm gonna catch it. Of course, now that I look for it, I can't see the damn thing. Okay, yeah, I don't know what it was. It's some sort of bug. But yeah, that's a marble record as far as what they call that type of vinyl. Yeah, that would be a red on white marble. But yeah, each one's a different color. That's I think it starts out with green, goes to red, and then ends with blue. Yeah, I've actually got a fair amount of vinyl. A lot of it video game related. Yeah, I know some people actually will. Some people say that black vinyl sounds like way better than any colored vinyl. I've not really seen any proof of that. I will absolutely agree that what do they call that stuff? Picture disc. Picture disc is shit. Because picture disc, the way they make it could be, in theory, just as good as anything that was a solid colored vinyl. But the problem with picture disc is a lot of times picture disc, they take like a piece of paper, they'll print the image they want on it, and then they take like 2 clear plastic pucks of vinyl and put it over the 2 sides and squish it. The problem with that, it could in theory be just as good as anything that's on, clear vinyl. So the issues are that clear vinyl oftentimes have issues with auto loading turntables, but most of all is that the grooves they put in that clear vinyl are way more shallow. Like, let's say the normal grooves are this tall, which I know is infinitely bigger than it really is. But let's just hypothetically say that that's how big a groove is on a 180 gram black vinyl. The colored vinyl, probably about the same, maybe the tiniest bit shallower. The clear vinyl that they put over top of a picture disc is like half as deep. So you end up with very shallow range. Pops can affect your vinyl way easier. So you end up with overall a much worse experience using picture vinyl. Picture vinyl, to me, is more of a display item than it is something that should be really listened to if you want good audio quality. Zero education. The ones you have are old and rather thick. No needs to play them. Just need to look up if anyone has already publicly ripped them for audio. So there's all the stuff I just said only applies to what they call 33 1/3 LPs or the 45 RPM singles. And those started like around probably the 60s. Like they existed a little earlier, but pretty much the 60s, where they were using what was called shellac records that were designed to be played at 78 RPM with those like big honking needles you would see in the movies. And the shellac records, they're literally made out of like beetles, like the shellac beetle. But sorry, I'm thinking about the they generally are, shellac records. They're way thicker than even like the most fancy audiophile regular records. And so because of that, they're thicker, but they're generally worse quality, just because of how they were played. But welcome in Retro Toaster. We are working on the Mac we have already gotten the solid state drive in. I'm just looking at the guide to basically reassemble this thing in reverse order. But yeah, welcome in, and I'm sorry if the audio is a little meh. I'm literally sitting on the floor. Okay, now it's time for the 7. Alright, so the 7 screws. How you been, Retro Toaster? I know I've not been live in forever, and I very much apologize for that. I've just been very, 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 very busy. How you been? Where's my little screwdriver? There it is. Okay, I want my gloves because I'm a little scared of the voltage again. But yeah, the shellac records would be much thicker than any of the ones I'm talking about, but all the stuff I was talking about refers to 33 1/3 or 45 RPM discs that were fish that later that were came up with. And yeah, picture discs are more of a novelty than they are something you really want to use for good audio. There we go. That was almost bad. That was almost bad. Yeah, I've been pretty good. This is the Mac that we are working on. Yeah, so it's mostly that the 33 1/3 RPM or 45 RPM picture discs are just made with way too thin of vinyl. They cheap out on them. They could be just as good as anything. They would just be a little bit thicker because there's a sheet of paper in the middle, but they just cheap out on them because they think that people are going to use them more as displayed items than they are actual, listening devices. And unfortunately, a lot of people will be like, oh my god, the Taylor Swift album came on, picture disc. It's so cool looking. And then they play it, and then they're like, wow, this sucks. And a lot of people actually get this kind of like... Sorry. They'll get an impression of vinyl records as sounding poppy or shitty, and people are like, oh, they crackle. No. A good quality well cared for, being played with a good needle that is not dirty, can sound just as good, if not better, than a CD. And that's the thing, is a lot of people will play them on those cheap shit-ass Crosley players. And the Crosley players, they're kind of harsh on vinyl because they put a lot of pressure. But mostly they just sound like crap. The ones that, like, you know, fold up into a little suitcase. That was me catching the bug that's been driving me crazy for the last, like, 5 minutes. The ones in suitcase usually sound bad. It's not a cockroach, I don't think. I think it's a, Could you actually see it? Could you see it on camera? I'm pretty sure it's not a cockroach. I'm pretty sure it's a, cicada of some sort. We really don't get cockroaches where I live. Looked like a roach. I don't think it is. I think it's, honestly, I'm not trying to be like, meh, I don't have roaches. Meh. No. If it's a cockroach, it's a cockroach. But I think more honestly, it's probably actually it's probably a cicada. Though I might be wrong. It might be a cockroach. But I've never seen one that looks like that. And I've seen plenty of cicadas that look like that. God, this keyboard I'm using for stream today is garbo. Yeah, the thing is the issues with the suitcase record players. They put too much pressure. They're generally poorly made. Their arms are made of plastic, so it's very hard to upgrade them. Their needles are shit. They put lots of pressure on the record. They're very hard to maintain. They oftentimes will not turn at 33 1/3. They'll be like, oh, I'm going to turn at 33 1/3. I'm going to turn at like 37. I'm going to turn at 31. You know, they're all over the place. And so, yeah, everyone I've seen in short terms is shit. They could, in theory, be good. But everyone I've ever seen, especially the ones by Crosley and Victrola, that you see, you know, everywhere with billions of designs on them are crap. Again, that's not to say it's not possible to have one that's good, but everyone that I know of on the market today, and pretty much every historical one, is an absolute turd. They could be good. but they're not. Let me secure the motherboard fully, and then I will add that thing. Yeah, plastic platter, too much pressure, plastic tone arm, which the tone arm is like in that that video that's playing. The tone arm is the metal thing that goes from where it's that metal S-shaped thing in the video there, that has the actual needle at the very end of it that's connected to a weight at the back. That's the tone arm. Those are plastic, and so they have a tendency to just kind of like bleh, really badly. And yeah, it's just, they're not good. They could be, but all the ones on the market aren't. What about the ones with metal? I mean, it depends on what part of it you're saying is metal. Because I know there's definitely some that use some metal pieces. But the majority of the arm for the needle depends on how they're made. All the ones by Crosley that go into a suitcase I've seen have a little shitty plastic platter that doesn't turn at an accurate speed. And the tone arms I've all seen are a plastic tube with the wires running up the center. If they were made out of metal like the one in the picture there, they can provide a much more rigid thing. They don't vibrate. They're able to put much more consistent pressure. Also, if you look at the very back of that turntable that's in the picture, you can see that there's a big black thing. That is a counterweight that can be adjusted, where you pretty much can't adjust those on the Crosley. A lot of those Crosleys, you can't even replace the needle. It's like glued on there. So again, they could be good, but they're not. Yeah, because the one that's in that picture has an Ortofon branded 2M Red is what that cartridge that's on there is called. I have the exact same one on my living room turntable. It sounds damn good. It costs roughly about $90. And the thing is, most of those crappy turntables that are in a suitcase cost like $90. So you're not gonna get that in a turntable that's that cheap. The metadata system you built is hurting your brain. It's really hard to pull off because the data is always being tracked. Okay. I don't understand. I'm not trying to be like, I don't care. No, I don't understand. Finally got to work to remove the metadata from a JPEG. Cool.
That I sort of understand. I'm installing tiny little cables right now.
Alright, what's next? Alright, what's next? Jesus Christ, we're losing frames again. I need to replace the internet. It's so shit. Anyway, let's see here. Got the screws. Yup. Done those screws. Did that. Did that. Did that. Should be able to reinstall the fan now.
Need a little zip tie. A little zip tie.
that's in. Zip tie. Screw. Screw that screw. That's a pop rivet. Okay. One ground screw. Where's B? There we go. Let me see if there is anything I can do about that. I need some needle nose pliers. Yeah, I broke a screw head. But yeah, you're right, Richard Toaster Crown Trigger on vinyl. Not the color I have, but I do have this record. I'm going to see if I can remove this screw, otherwise I might have to say screw it. I'm going to get some needle nose pliers. Trying to deal with a broken screw head is the sucky part. Just might have to deal with it. Yeah, let's see if I just put in the other screws, if it's good enough. I'm gonna use some really strong double-sided tape. Yeah, it's gonna have to do. Yeah, it's just gonna have to do. this thing up. Yeah, I think I'm really ready to button this thing up. And then I'm going to have a little break where I put it on the desk, and then we're going to hook it up and install shit. Kind of funny that's playing the Chrono Trigger essentially victory music when Yeah, we're totally changing the scene after this. Bring the green screen back up. I'm very close to having it assembled, and then we'll test if it actually works. Right now, I'm just screwing on the feet, and then the door protects the ram. So I don't need this tutorial in my way anymore. Now, the part that you haven't seen yet. Stand. I like that stand. The stand. The stand. The stand is half attached. Oh, that's the bit. Never mind.
What the hell is that?
Okay. I need the really big bit. It's this one, right? All right, it is assembled. Now we're gonna go on a bit of a break, and I'm going to go ahead and first of all see if it'll turn on, and then go from there. But I need to reorganize the desk a little bit and move the microphone to be able to do this. So I'm going to leave the music playing, but I'm going to go on a BRB screen. Okay. We have a couple different options. As what's going on here is that I have the Mac essentially set up, but I'm going to be installing a lot of stuff, and at this point, here. So at this point, I can get things going, but at the same time, the main issue is that so far I don't think I have the ability to capture it. And I'm going to try a couple more settings. Let me see here. I'm just going to pause the Chrono Trigger music. Because, yeah. That's what I'm seeing on here, is that not getting anything through the capture yet. So because of that, pretty much we have the choice where we can either call the stream and I can just install a bunch of crap off stream, which is probably the better thing to do. Or you can have some random music playing and I can talk about random shit while I install it off to my right, which you won't be able to see until I get Mac OS installed on it and can do the dual monitor support. Because right now, I'm getting nothing, which I don't think is a problem per se. I just think that at this point, I don't have access to the how to phrase it, how to phrase this. The OS is not installed on the Mac. It recognizes the drive and all that, but because the OS is not installed on the Mac, we literally cannot. We can't do anything. So I can either set this up to where you'll just see me kind of staring off to my right while I work on this Mac and other shit play on the screen, I guess. Like, I don't know what else to say. Because, yeah, this is going to be a lot of me just kind of, like, staring at shit. So, I'm not sure. Let me see who's on. That way I can make the determination. Yeah, I'm just going to raid Jank Jesus. As I won't be able to capture anything until this is very set up, and this could take literally hours. So I might come back, but for now I'm going to raid Jank Jesus. I think that's the best thing to do. So yeah, thank you to everybody watching me take a Mac apart on my floor. And we'll definitely be using this thing once I've got it more set up. Thank you to everybody who's here, and we'll see you around. God, I haven't done that in forever.